I'm Rick Robinson, Director of Marketing and Vision Research, and what I'd like to show you today is what we've been up to for the past year or so and what we have new at NAB. Last year at NAB we introduced this flash memory magazine called the CineMag that plugs onto the top of our Phantom HD and our Phantom 65mm cameras. It also plugs on the top of our newly introduced V12 camera. I don't have one here at the show because I just really don't have enough of them to free one up for the show, and I didn't have one with a color sensor. That's an awesome camera that could actually do 1280 by 800 or 720p at 7,000 frames per second. So that's going to be an awesome camera when we have that available in volume. But this magazine fits on those three cameras, and the idea behind the magazine is that you can shoot extremely high speeds into the camera memory and then upload to the magazine, or at lower speeds, like 450 frames per second at HD resolution, for example, you can shoot directly into the magazine. You can store 256 or 512 gigabytes of images onto these magazines. Okay?
That's amazing.
Now, the problem with that is when you have all of that in the magazine, what do you do with it? And for the last year or so, our customers have had to keep the magazine on the camera and then connect to the camera with a computer at the end of a day of shooting and download those digital files off of the magazine to a hard disk array through regular gigabit Ethernet. And that can take, at best, a minute per gigabyte. So on a 512 gigabyte magazine, you're talking what, 9 hours or something of download time. Or on set, if you wanted to be able to offload some of these and take a look at them or start processing them or something, you would have to tie up the camera, and it upset the momentum on set, etc. So now with this year, we've introduced the Cine Station. It's a very simple docking station for the CineMag. You can take this off of the camera, place it on the Cine Station, put another mag on the camera and keep shooting. And on the Cine Station, you have the option, as you do on the camera, of two different workflow options. You have the option to do a video workflow. So you can come out of the CineMag using dual HDSDI. I only have one set up right now, so I'm looking at a 422 signal to this little monitor. But you can have dual link HDSDI out or component video. Okay. And the way you access that is with a little video player that looks like this, running on the computer. So you can come in and you can select, well, which of the cines in memory do I want to look at. There happens to be 3 on this particular magazine. This first one here is this Omega Watch example, and then I just play that. And once I start playing it, it just plays it. It's reading the raw file off of this magazine. It's doing all of the video magic in terms of interpolation, gamma, color matrix, that sort of stuff, and piping it out over the HDSDI, and now we can see the results on the monitor. Okay? Now, obviously I had a lot of dead time in front of the drop, so I might want to come in here and set an in point and an out point. Let's say my input's along in there somewhere. My out point is along in there somewhere, so now it's only going to play the portion of the clip that I selected, and I have it in a looping mode here so that it's going to loop through that particular clip. So if I want to pursue a video-based workflow, instead of having this go to a monitor, it could be going to a recorder of some kind, and I could record 444 to the recorder at whatever HD standard you choose, 720, 1080, 1080p, PSF, whatever frame rate you choose. All of those are options inside this little video player.
And what is the price on the Phantom Cine Station?
We're trying to price the Cine Station very attractively. I really would like to see one in every post house and go out with every rental because it's such a workflow breakthrough. $12,900.
And you do see it as a post house piece as well.
I think if a post house wants to do post on Phantom footage, if they had one of these, they could be literally delivered the magazine. The first thing probably want to do is make a backup, and then from there they can immediately move to post. The workflow options are really numerous.
And what is your data I/O on this? So you can also download off gigabit Ethernet?
Right, yeah. So you can also download over the gigabit Ethernet, and to do that I would just simply make the same marks that I just did here and say save. And when I say save, then I'll get a dialog box asking me where I want to save it. I could point it to my RAID array and click save, and now that same segment would be saved as raw image files.
Okay, as your .cine extension.
Your .cine extension,
right.
Exactly. Again, that's about a gigabyte per minute over standard gigabit Ethernet.
Yeah.
But we will, in a few months, have a 10 gig option for this, which would then allow you to download over fiber to a 10 gig card, maybe a PCI card in a PC or something, to a RAID array, and you're going to see a significant improvement in the download speed. I don't know exactly what it is yet. We're still benchmarking it. I doubt it'll be a 10 times improvement, but let's say it's an 8-time improvement. So now instead of taking 8 hours or 9 hours to download a 512 gig Cinemag, it's lunch.
Yeah.
You know?
And what is the upgrade path for that? It's going to be field upgradable?
We'll need to ask you to bring it back to put it in, but it is going to be installable in this base model. And I don't even have all the pricing set yet and everything quite, but it'll be coming this summer.
Fantastic.
Great.
So now you've got your Cine files on a disk somewhere. Now what? And so the other thing that's really kind of new for us that has been around for a while, but we're really trying to promote it at NAB, is the fact that we have some industry partners who have written software that reads these Cine files and helps bring them into the post-production workflow. Iridos is example. For several years they've been able to read Cine files into Onset or Frame Cycler. That continues. I think they've got some, you'd have to talk to them, but I think they've introduced some new interpolation algorithms or whatever that you might want to learn more about. Clearly a super tool for reading the Cine files, rendering them and playing them in real time, doing your grading, and then perhaps rendering them out as DPX or whatever you choose. The other really cool workflow solution we have is from Glue Tools.
Right.
And their booth, quite coincidentally, is across the catty corner across the aisle there.
Bob over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically he has a QuickTime plugin that allows you to read Cine files and play them in QuickTime or any QuickTime compatible piece of code. So we have demo footage running here in the booth, for example, that I created by dragging Cine files onto the Final Cut Pro timeline. Today you have to render them. Bob tells me in the future you won't even have to render them. And that's just a huge solution because you don't have to do an intermediate processing before you can bring it into the editor. So that is very exciting for us and I think for the industry as well.